Good morning. I'm Chilton, and today I want to talk about one of my favorite weird little obsessions, which is styluses and phones, iPhones specifically. And this is an active capacitance stylus. This is a little different than a normal, than the styluses you're probably used to over the last few years, in that this one generates its own electromagnetic field that simulates a finger and the resistance from a finger as it interferes with the field over an iPhone screen to simulate a precise location for the tip. This is because that's the only way you can make a stylus work on an iPhone right now, because it's a capacitance-based screen, not a pressure-based one. And because it does not have a little RF field generated just for styluses, as far as we know. So I want to show you that real quick. This is really fascinating, at least to me. So normally when you run your finger over a screen, you get pretty straight lines. I don't know about straight, but roughly between the center of your finger from one point and your center of your finger from another. And no matter what you draw on that, you're going to get something that looks kind of like what you would imagine from moving your finger around on the screen. And that's because it's got this grid that overlays everything, and it's detecting the location of your finger and basically moving the cursor around as it steps from one little part of the grid to the next. And it does a pretty good job of estimating where your finger is based on that signal between two little parts of the grid. Okay, well, that's easy enough. But for these capacitance styluses to work, they have to either fake your fingertip or actually have a physical top. Now, some of the styluses have a big physical top. Those are physical ones. They'll have like a glass little circle. It shows up like a finger to the phone. But for these active styluses, which have a little battery in them and stuff, they generate a field that simulates your finger. And I want to show you what that looks like right here. So I'm just going to draw some lines. And as I draw the lines, if I draw them in a certain way, it's going to look like I'm drawing a grid. I'm not drawing a grid. I'm not deliberately drawing a grid. It's just going to show up as a grid because as that electromagnetic field passes between the two different grid points, grid lines, it's going to attempt to figure out where that line is on the screen. Now, one of the things you'll notice is I'm just drawing straight lines back and forth, but they look squiggly. And the reason they look squiggly is because, again, it's trying to estimate its position. It's trying to estimate that electromagnetic field position, which is not actually a finger. Now, we know how these work now, thanks to some really awesome teardown videos on YouTube, because I made a lot of guesses about how these work, and I've tried my hand at actually building one and failed a few times. But it turns out that the trick is it senses the electromagnetic field, picks up that signal, and then amplifies it and sends it back out. As you'll notice, it's not always drawing the grid. Often it gets the line between the points, and that's what it's supposed to do. The problem is it's imprecise. And so based on the direction that I'm drawing on the screen, so like right now, if I draw left to right, more left to right, or more, I don't know. I'm going to do this sideways on the video, so I guess this will be top to bottom. If I'm doing this top to bottom on the screen, it's going to show that grid differently. So you'll see more vertical lines. You basically will see vertical lines that will run somewhat parallel to the direction that I'm moving my finger in, or moving the pen in. So that's how that works. You can see those lines really well here, and it just blows me away that we've basically uncovered exactly how this system worked. I mean, we knew you could take apart the screen, you could see the grid, and you could see that that's obviously how they're determining where your finger is. But we didn't have a really easy way to figure out how these capacitance pens worked, and now I do. And look how beautiful those lines are there at the bottom. That is so cool. right there. Isn't that wild? So that's how that works. I still haven't found a good stylus that actually overcomes this. Let me know if you have found one that you really like. I really wish Apple would just... Supposedly they made like 1 million Apple pens or pencils that were supposed to work with the iPhone, and then they didn't release them at the last minute. I really wish they would. I wish they would put an actual, whatever it is, digitizer on this that they need, and allow us to use an Apple Pencil, because I hate that I can't write on my phone. I draw a lot. I can't really draw or write on my phone in any way that makes it look nice. This is one area where Samsung and other, I think LG also makes a stylus-based phone. This is one area where they're just kicking Apple's ass right now. So it would be great, Apple, if you would, stop doing this stuff. All right, thanks. Have a great day.